Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock, Texas.
Yes, from one of my all-time favorite movies, La Bamba, and of course the line, Lubbock, Texas. Well, that's where the Oklahoma Sooners are headed this Saturday, is to Lubbock, Texas. Yes, one of those fun trips to West Texas, out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Anyway, the Sooners and the Red Raiders play this Saturday morning, 11:30 kickoff, and the game can be seen on Fox Sports. Oklahoma does enter this game as a slight favorite, which is a little surprising considering the struggles that Oklahoma has had in Lubbock. Bob Stoops, this is only one of two stadiums where he has lost at least 3 times. The other stadium, of course, the Cotton Bowl. Bob Stoops' lifetime is 2-3 in Lubbock, and he has not won in Lubbock since 2003. The 2005 game, the amazing hose job that those officials did, and Oklahoma's loss to Texas Tech, in which the Red Raiders, according to the officials, scored on the final play of the game. But of course, Oklahoma fans know, truthfully, and if you're not a fan of either team, you'd probably say the same thing, that the Texas Tech running back did not break the plane. But according to the officials, somehow he did. And then the game 2 years ago where Sam Bradford had the early concussion, didn't see playing time after that, and Michael Crabtree simply owned Oklahoma that night. Oklahoma tried like crazy to come back, but fell a touchdown short in that 34-27 loss, a game that kept Oklahoma from going to a national championship. But last year for Oklahoma in Norman, the Sooners hammered the number 2 Red Raiders, scoring over 60 in that game to a laugher. So, what's going to give this year? And from Texas Tech, what can you expect? Well, if you know anything about Mike Leach, the Texas Tech Red Raider head coach, you know one thing. Expect the unexpected. That was certainly the case this last Saturday. While Oklahoma was creaming A&M 65-10, Texas Tech offense was struggling, and I mean struggling, against an improved Oklahoma State defense, but in no way, shape, or form did we think that Tech would be held to their worst performance of the year in that game, a mere 17 points. If you didn't watch the game, Taylor Potts started this game at quarterback for the Red Raiders, played the first 4 series, and then Coach Leach decided to make a change. He put Steven Sheffield into the game. Sheffield had started a few games for the Red Raiders, but broke a foot earlier in the year. Hadn't played about 4 weeks, so this was his first action back since that major injury. Threw a touchdown pass, Tech leading 10-7. Things looking good for Tech, right? Wrong. Because over the next 2 quarters, the Red Raider offense couldn't muster much. In fact, Sheffield threw 2 interceptions, including a pick in the 4th quarter in which Oklahoma State's Patrick Levine ran it all the way back for a touchdown. 24-10, Oklahoma State at that point in the 4th quarter. And Coach Leach then re-entered Potts in the game, thus pulling Sheffield. And then Potts, within a minute and a half, led the Red Raiders downfield. They scored a touchdown, but it would be too late as Oklahoma State won the game 24-17. When asked to Coach Leach if he had it to do over again, would he have left Potts in the game throughout? And Coach Leach said that if he did have to do it over again, he would never have taken Taylor Potts out of the game to begin with. He would have stuck with him the entire way. Of course, that's one of those, yeah, you can say that now because you saw the result. But in this case, I am going to believe Coach Leach that if he did have to do it over again, that he would have left Potts in the game from the beginning and never have entered Sheffield. Maybe Sheffield just wasn't ready to come back yet, at least mentally. He probably wasn't, and the foot probably was still bothering him, because when you throw the ball, of course, foot placement is very important. And coming off a broken foot injury, Sheffield may not have been 100%. So I think from those perspectives, you'd have to believe Leach when he said that if he had to do it again, Taylor Potts would have never have come out of the game, period, despite the fact that the Red Raider offense struggled early, thus prompting Leach to make the quarterback switch at that point. He definitely regretted doing that. With Texas Tech, like I said, you never know what you're going to get. They're definitely a box of chocolates team because you never know what you're going to get. This is the same team that put a big scare into Texas in Austin back in September. They fought very, very tough. In fact, played a pretty good game. Lost to the Longhorns on the road by only 10 points. This is also the same team that battled Houston, a ranked opponent, on the road. Had them pinned, should have won that game, but let it slip away in the end. But this is also the same Texas Tech team that, like I said, was held to a season-low 17 points last week, and also the same Texas Tech team that got hammered at home by Texas A&M. That's right. The same A&M team that Oklahoma scored 65 against. And again, that Texas Tech loss to A&M was in Lubbock. So I think when you consider all those elements, if Tech is held to a season-low 17 points against Oklahoma State defense, it's improved, but nowhere near the same caliber as Oklahoma's D. And if Texas A&M can go into Lubbock and beat the Red Raiders and beat them soundly, then I believe that gives the Oklahoma team, in particular their defense, hope that they can go into Lubbock and pull off the victory. Who will I pick in this game? Well, you just have to wait and see here in a couple of minutes. Let's go ahead and go over the 4 keys to this ball game. Key number 1, the Oklahoma secondary. You have to be ready. It doesn't matter who's quarterback in the Red Raiders, because Sheffield as well as Potts are both capable of putting up a lot of points and a lot of yardage. Texas Tech once again leads the Big 12 in passing yardage. And they're also second in the Big 12 in total offense, only behind Texas. So even though the Texas Tech running attack only averages about 70 yards a game, their passing average per game is near 300. So it will still be a chore for the corners, for Jackson and Franks, as well as for Quentin Carter in the secondary, to be ready for the Red Raiders. Texas Tech's going to complete passes, but it's what they do after the completion that leads to so much success for the Red Raiders on offense. So playing very disciplined, tackling very well, and not getting burned. Yeah, that will definitely help Oklahoma's chances in this game. Key number 2, be sharp on Sharp. We're talking about Brandon Sharp, the terrific defensive end, by the way, for the Red Raiders, who, believe it or not, second in the Big 12 in sacks. He has 10. He had 4 against Nebraska a few weeks ago in Lincoln, the same place where the Oklahoma Sooners scored only 3 points. Now, Brandon Sharp, again, it's going to be up to the Oklahoma tackles, for Trent Williams in particular, to have a terrific footing to make sure to contain Brandon Sharp, who does have speed and can make life a nightmare for Landry Jones if he gets on a roll. Again, Brandon Sharp, one of the surprises this year in the Big 12 as far as defensive players go. Oklahoma will need to have a good game against him. Key number 3 of this game, the turnover war. The Red Raiders are one of the worst teams in all of college football in turnover margin. In fact, they're dead last in the Big 12 in turnover margin, meaning that they turn the ball over more than they get the ball. So that could spell opportunity for Oklahoma. Oklahoma was outstanding in the turnover department this past week, getting 4 takeaways while only having 1 turnover. So if that trend continues, this could lead to an Oklahoma victory on the road. And then finally, key number 4, the OU receivers must come through. Texas Tech, I believe, is going to do everything they can to contain Ryan Broyles. So somebody other than Broyles will have to step up for the Oklahoma Sooners to have success in the receiving department. DeJuan Miller looks like he could be that guy. He played an outstanding game against Kansas State a few weeks ago with 2 touchdown passes. He'll have to come through on the road, as will the rest of the OU receivers. My prediction on this game, look, a few weeks ago I would have said Oklahoma, there's no way they're going to win in Lubbock, especially the way OU played in Lincoln in that game in which they only scored 3 points against the Huskers. But if you can change your phone number with the telephone operator, I believe you could definitely change your mind about this game. I love the way Oklahoma played last week. Not very impressed with the way Tech played last week. Oklahoma, I think, despite the game being in Lubbock, I think they find a way to win. 35-31, the final score. There will be a lot of points in this game, so don't be panicky if Tech gets off to a good start in this game. Oklahoma, I believe, will outlast the Red Raiders in the end and will get their first victory in Lubbock since the 2003 season. 35-31 is my final. Oklahoma will win their 7th game of the season, and then after that, they'll be ready for the Bedlam game the week of Thanksgiving. Well, that's my prediction. By the way, our post-game show will be Saturday sometime. It won't be on Sunday, but it will be on Saturday, so we'll have it on a little bit faster than normal. Oklahoma, my prediction is a victory in Lubbock. So long for now.